Perched high in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas stands the Crescent Hotel, a grand limestone structure built in 1886. Its majestic turrets and wide verandas once drew wealthy travelers seeking peace and luxury, but beneath its elegance lies a dark and tragic history, one that has made it infamous as America's most haunted hotel. Over the decades, the Crescent has served many purposes: a luxury resort, a women's college, and most chillingly, a fraudulent hospital run by a so-called doctor named Norman Baker in the 1930s. Baker promised to cure cancer without surgery or medicine, but his patients often vanished without explanation. Locals still whisper that hundreds died in agony within those stone walls. Visitors today report hearing disembodied voices, cold touches, and seeing shadow figures drifting through the halls. The most terrifying reports come from room 313, where guests claim to hear someone knocking inside the closet or whispering their names at night. Paranormal investigators have captured unexplained thermal signatures, EVP recordings of screams, and photos showing full-bodied apparitions. Many who've stayed the night have fled before dawn, refusing to ever return. This is not folklore. These are documented encounters from guests, hotel staff, and investigators. Each account adds another chilling layer to the mystery. Tonight, we will descend into the story of the Crescent Hotel, exploring its darkest secrets and the haunting presence that still lingers in room 313. When Emily Carter, a travel blogger specializing in haunted destinations, received an invitation to stay at the Crescent Hotel, she thought it would be just another spooky legend to debunk. The management often invited influencers to experience the haunted reputation firsthand. A clever marketing trick, she thought. But from the moment she arrived, the air felt different. The massive limestone building loomed above her like a castle built for the dead. The setting sun bathed its facade in blood-orange light, and for just a second, she thought she saw a figure standing in one of the third-floor windows, perfectly still, watching her. When she blinked, it was gone. Emily checked in at dusk. The receptionist, an older woman with trembling hands, hesitated before assigning her room. "You're in the entertain," she said softly, sliding over an old-fashioned brass key. Emily noticed how the woman's eyes darted toward the staircase as if something unseen lingered there. That night, as Emily unpacked, the air grew colder. Her camera flickered on by itself. She laughed nervously, assuming it was a battery issue. But then came a faint tapping, 3 sharp knocks, from inside the closet. Her chest tightened. She froze, listening. The sound came again, louder this time, followed by a soft whisper. "Get out!" She yanked open the closet door. Nothing, only her reflection in the small mirror nailed to the back wall, her face pale and wide-eyed. But as she turned to close it, she noticed something behind her reflection. A tall, shadowy figure standing just over her shoulder. When she spun around, the room was empty. Her pulse pounded. For the first time in her career, Emily realized this might not be just another story. Sleep didn't come easy for Emily that first night. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard footsteps pacing above her ceiling. Slow, deliberate, heavy, though she was on the top floor. Around 3 a.m., a sudden bang echoed from the hallway, followed by a dragging sound that scraped along the floorboards. The next morning, she went downstairs to find the hotel strangely quiet. At breakfast, a janitor named Tom struck up a conversation. When she mentioned the noises, his expression darkened. "That would have been in the old operating floor," he muttered. "Dr. Baker's patients. Some never left." Emily asked to see the basement where Baker's hospital once operated. Tom hesitated, then agreed, warning, "Don't go near the morgue doors." They descended into the depths, the air thick, damp, and colder than the rest of the building. The walls were rough stone, lined with decaying shelves that once held medical tools. Faintly, the smell of rust and something far worse hung in the air. As Emily raised her flashlight, it flickered weakly across a row of jars filled with murky liquid. Inside, twisted shapes floated, too distorted to identify. "Souvenirs," Tom whispered, voice shaking. From deeper in the hallway, a door creaked open. A long, slow inhale echoed through the dark. human but not alive. Emily aimed her camera down the corridor. The lens captured a tall figure standing motionless at the far end, dressed in an old white lab coat, head bowed. "Sir?" she called. The man lifted his head. His eyes glowed faintly red in the beam of her light. Then he vanished. Tom grabbed her wrist. "That's him," he gasped. "Dr. Baker doesn't like visitors." Emily left the basement shaken. The temperature dropped as she climbed the grand staircase back toward the lobby. Her heart thudded in her chest. Every creak of the old wood echoed too long, like something was following just one step behind her. She turned quickly. Nothing there. Back in daylight, she tried to convince herself it was her imagination. She reviewed her camera footage from the basement. The video showed everything: the jars, the corridor, even the lab coat hanging mid-air. But when the red-eyed figure appeared, the audio filled with static and a whisper emerged. "Stay down here." Later that afternoon, she decided to explore the upper floors for background footage. As she moved through the hallway near the old servants' quarters, she heard laughter. A child's laughter. The sound came from the staircase leading to the attic. "Hello?" Emily called. "Is someone up there?" Tiny footsteps ran across the landing above her. Then a girl's voice replied, almost playfully, "Come find me." Her skin prickled. She climbed slowly, her camera rolling. Halfway up, the air turned icy. A little girl stood at the top of the stairs, no older than 10, wearing a pale blue dress from another century. Her face was blurred, not by the camera but by something unnatural, shifting like smoke. Emily whispered, "Who are you?" The girl tilted her head. "He said I can't leave," she said softly. Then she turned and fell backward into the darkness below. Emily screamed, lunging forward, but there was no body at the bottom. Only a broken doll, its porcelain face cracked, lying where the girl had stood seconds before. Emily didn't sleep that night. The vision of the falling girl and the doll that replaced her replayed endlessly in her mind. By morning, she resolved to find answers. She approached the hotel's caretaker, Mr. Grayson, a man in his 70s who rarely spoke more than a few words. When Emily mentioned the child, his face went pale. "You shouldn't have gone upstairs," he muttered. "That part of the building isn't on the blueprints anymore." Confused, Emily went back to review the floor plan she'd photographed from the town's archives. He was right. There were only 3 floors, but she had clearly climbed to a 4th. Determined, she returned to the staircase, camera in hand. This time, every step groaned like the house itself was resisting her. The hallway at the top was longer than before, lined with old doors that hadn't been there yesterday. She picked one and tried the handle. It opened easily. Inside was a perfectly preserved child's bedroom. A rocking horse, faded wallpaper with tiny blue flowers, and drawings tacked to the wall. Drawings of a dark figure in a black cloak standing beside a little girl. As Emily filmed, the door behind her slammed shut. Her camera light flickered, and in the reflection of a cracked vanity mirror, she saw the little girl again, standing right behind her. But this time, the girl wasn't alone. A tall shadow loomed beside her, its outline inhuman, long arms, featureless face, and a hood that swallowed all light. The girl whispered through the static, "He doesn't like visitors." The mirror shattered and Emily's camera went black. When Emily woke up the next morning, she was lying on the lobby couch, camera clutched tightly to her chest. She didn't remember leaving the 4th floor. The caretaker, Mr. Grayson, stood over her, expression grim. "I told you to stay away," he whispered. That floor was sealed for a reason. She turned on her camera to prove what she'd seen, but the footage was warped. The screen buzzed with static, and every few seconds the dark figure flashed across the frame. In one frozen image, Emily noticed something chilling. The shadow's hand was resting on her shoulder. Her blood ran cold. Desperate, she plugged the camera into her laptop to stabilize the frames. When she enhanced the image, she saw something she couldn't explain. A reflection in the cracked mirror smiling, while she distinctly remembered screaming. That evening, Emily explored the archives again. She found an old photo dated 1922, showing the hotel's original owner with his family in the same hallway she'd filmed. Standing behind them was the same hooded figure, faint, almost transparent, but there. The caption read, The night the daughter fell, Emily gasped. The little girl she saw was the daughter. The fall wasn't an accident. The record showed she died mysteriously, and her body was never recovered. As she studied the photo, the laptop screen flickered. The dark figure's image began to move, its head slowly turning toward her pixel by pixel. Then, the reflection on her laptop's black screen smiled again, not hers this time. From the corner of her room, she heard the faint creak of the rocking horse, and then, the whisper, "Now you've seen him too." Emily couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard the faint creak of the rocking horse echoing in her head. The room seemed colder now, the air thick with something that felt alive. The hotel walls, once still and silent, seemed to breathe. Determined to uncover the truth, she followed the whispers that drifted through the hallway late at night. They led her back to the third floor, a level that hadn't been part of the hotel's blueprints. The wallpaper peeled like dead skin, and the carpet was damp beneath her shoes. At the end of the hallway, a door stood slightly open. Room 313. As Emily stepped inside, the air shifted. The smell of decay was overwhelming. On the floor, she found dozens of old toys, dolls missing eyes, a rusted rocking horse, and a cracked music box that began to play by itself. The whispers grew louder, forming words now. She never left. Emily's flashlight flickered, revealing a series of small handprints smeared across the walls, tiny, dark, and fresh. Her pulse quickened. She raised her camera and began recording. Then from behind the wardrobe came the sound of slow, deliberate breathing. She turned, heart pounding. "Who's there?" she whispered. The wardrobe door creaked open on its own, revealing only darkness. And then, a child's voice barely above a breath. "Don't let him see you." The lights went out. The camera fell from her hand. When the flashlight flickered back to life, the toys were gone. Every one of them, except the rocking horse, now turned toward her, slowly moving back and forth on its own. When Emily awoke the next morning, her camera was lying beside her on the floor. The memory card light blinked faintly, recording something while she slept. Hands trembling, she plugged it into her laptop. The first few seconds were normal. Static, her heavy breathing, and the faint creak of the rocking horse. But then the frame shifted. She could see herself sleeping, the camera now somehow placed on the nightstand. In the background, a small figure stood in the corner, motionless. A child. Its outline was blurry, its face hidden beneath tangled black hair. As Emily leaned closer to the screen, the figure's head turned. Not in the video, but in real time, inside her reflection on the laptop. She jumped back, heart pounding. The whispers returned, louder now, circling the room. "You took her picture. Now she sees you." Emily grabbed her camera and looked through the lens again. The room looked normal, until the flash went off. A photograph printed instantly, showing a distorted figure standing right behind her. The air went ice cold. She spun around, and no one there. But when she looked back at the photograph, the figure had moved closer. Every new photo she took showed the same thing. The ghostly child inching forward, step by step, until in the final picture, only her pale face filled the frame. Her phone rang suddenly at the front desk. A trembling voice said, "Ma'am, please stay in your room. We just checked the CCTV. You're not supposed to be there. That floor has been closed since 1974. The line went dead. Emily didn't wait for another warning. She ran down the hallway barefoot, her camera swinging against her chest, heart hammering like a drum beat in her ears. The lights flickered violently as she passed, every bulb dimming the closer she got to the sealed wing. At the end of the corridor stood a wooden door wrapped in rusted chains, the number 307 faintly visible beneath decades of dust. Yet something was breathing behind it, shallow, slow, and rhythmic, like something that never needed to rest. She reached for the lock, her hand trembling. The metal was ice cold. The instant she touched it, the whispers exploded in her ears. She's still waiting. She never left this room. With one hard pull, the lock gave way. The door swung open, releasing a stench of decay and old blood. Inside was a child's bedroom untouched by time, a rotting dollhouse, broken toys scattered across the floor, and drawings covering every inch of the walls. Emily's flashlight caught one, detail that froze her blood. Every drawing showed the same little girl, the one from her photographs, standing beside a woman who looked exactly like Emily herself. Then came the giggle, faint yet unmistakable. The rocking horse in the corner began to move on its own, creaking in rhythm with the whispers. Emily raised her camera and took a photo. In the flash, the girl was there, sitting cross-legged on the floor, staring at her with hollow eyes. When the light faded, the child was gone. But on the dusty mirror behind the bed, something new had appeared, written in tiny, trembling letters. "You opened her room. Now she'll never leave you." Emily stumbled backward, her breath ragged, the flashlight trembling in her grip. The words on the mirror seemed to shimmer, as if they were alive, freshly carved into the glass. The air grew heavy and thick, pressing against her chest until she could barely breathe. Then a soft humming began, a lullaby. It was the same tune she had heard faintly on her recordings, the one that had no earthly source. The sound came from the mirror itself. Slowly, she lifted her eyes. In the reflection, the room behind her was not the same. The bed was perfectly made, the wallpaper clean, and a young girl in an old-fashioned nightgown sat on the edge, combing her hair. She looked peaceful, until Emily blinked. In that instant, the girl's eyes met hers through the mirror. They were black, endless voids. Her mouth twisted into a grotesque grin as she whispered, "You took her picture. Now she remembers you." Emily screamed, dropping her flashlight. When it rolled across the floor, the reflection didn't move with it. The mirror showed the girl standing right behind her. Panicking, Emily spun around. Nothing. Only the cold air and that sweet, choking perfume that filled the room. She turned back to the mirror again, and this time her reflection was gone. Only the girl remained, smiling wider. Suddenly, a pale hand pressed against the inside of the glass, fingertips dragging down as if trying to escape. A crack spread across the surface like a spider web. Emily's voice trembled as she whispered, "Who are you?" The girl's voice came back, distorted, childlike yet ancient. "I'm what she left behind." Then the mirror shattered and the room went dark. The crash of shattering glass echoed through the hallway as Emily stumbled backward, her arms shielding her face from flying shards. The mirror had exploded outward, but instead of fragments, there were shimmering slivers of light hanging in the air like broken pieces of another world. From within those fractured reflections, faces began to emerge, pale, distorted visages of men, women, and children. Their mouths opened in silent screams, pressed against invisible walls, trapped in the mirror's timeless prison. Among them was her own reflection, staring back in horror. Emily's knees gave out. She crawled toward the doorway, desperate to escape. But every step she took echoed with the sound of childish giggles and faint sobs. The hotel itself seemed alive now. Doors slamming, walls breathing, chandeliers swinging violently overhead. Then she heard the voice, not from behind, but inside her head. "You saw me. Now you are me." A cold hand gripped her shoulder. She turned slowly, praying she was wrong. The little girl stood there, translucent, eyes hollow, head tilted. In her other hand, she held a broken shard of the mirror. The girl stepped closer and pressed it into Emily's palm. Blood dripped onto the floor, and in that reflection of red, Emily saw herself standing in the child's place, her body fading, her voice trapped in the mirror's surface. The whispers ceased. The hotel grew still. Weeks later, investigators found Emily's camera near the sealed room. The last photo on the memory card showed the cracked mirror, and a faint image of Emily inside it, smiling with the black-eyed child beside her. No one ever reopened the hotel again. Locals still swear on cold nights if you stand by the ruins and look into any reflective surface, you can hear them humming together.